Welcome to podcasts recorded live at the Center for Spiritual Living in Portland, Oregon. We have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center and its video podcasts, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.
Again, our floral arrangement is from Kat Jacobs, and we thank her every week. Our special music today is by our very own LaRhonda Steele, who'll be starting us off and then doing our inspirational music also. So, sit back and relax, because we know that somewhere between the music, the meditation, and the message is exactly what your heart came to receive.
As we enter our time of meditation together, let's breathe right into this moment. God is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am. Right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am. Right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am.
So in this here and now moment, I know that God is here, present, always knowing, always the wisdom, the love, the light, all of the energy of God is here now. And I know that all of these beautiful qualities of peace and love and wholeness and wisdom, all of this connection with the oneness is present everywhere, that God, Spirit, divine intelligence is the source of all that is. And as there is only one throughout the universe, that means that I am part of that essence that we call God. I am an individualized, unique expression of this oneness, and all of these qualities, all of the wisdom and life and peace and wholeness reside within me. They are the truth of my being. And as this is true for me, I know it's true for every person here, every person hearing this prayer. And so I feel very comfortable in claiming and affirming for all of us that the greater our faith in Spirit, in knowing that Spirit flows through us, that there is love and life and peace within us, that there is wisdom, that we are always guided and supported as we go within and know that truth. And so what we're really talking about is having faith in this process. As I go within, I know that I am awakening the love, the light, the peace. All of these qualities merely need our recognition. And so as each one of us builds our faith in the divine creative process, we know that we are co-creators of our lives, that things happen through the consciousness of the entire world, but we have the right, the faith, the ability to react accordingly to knowing that God's got this, that there is only one, and that I am protected, I am connected to that source, and that each one of us is able to be the truth of our being. That with our faith growing daily, exponentially, that we are able to be vibrant, strong co-creators of our lives, no matter what happens. And I'm so very grateful for this. I know that I am always guided and supported. I know that whatever is happening is going to unfold perfectly. And so I just give thanks for all of this, for knowing this truth within myself and within every person in the world. And so I just release my word into the action and activity of the law, knowing that the law is manifesting immediately based on our faith, our beliefs, our knowing the truth and claiming them for ourselves. And so I release this, I let it be, and together we say, and so it is. And as we go into the silence, I just invite us to recognize within ourselves that loving voice of Spirit, guiding us, supporting us, always protecting us throughout our lives.
God's love surrounds me. Deep peace enfolds me. Spirit's light shines through me. between the stars. I am the depth of the ocean. I am the very air you breathe. I am, I am, I am the breeze on a summer night. I am the eagle that's soaring. I am the forest, lush and green. I am, I am, I breathe into this moment. God is everywhere. Look around and see the wonders we all share. The face of God is everywhere. God's love surrounds me, and deep peace enfolds me. Spirit's light shines through me, and on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Blessings.
Thank you, LaRhonda. What a beautiful song. Happy Sunday, everyone. Well, as you know, we're working through Pema Chodron's book, Welcoming the Unwelcome, this month. And the promise or the thesis of the book is that although misfortunes may be unavailable, what we do with the misfortune, how we react to it, how we integrate it into our lives is within our control. And so throughout the book, she gives us ways to look at negative conditions or negative events differently, and over time perhaps to accept them and even to find in the end success because of them. Well, today we're going to be talking about something that's going to be very real to all of us. Many of you realize we're marking the 1-year mark for the coronavirus pandemic and all of the various negative situations that have come about. It's estimated that 1 out of every 3 people has been affected by the death of a loved one due to the coronavirus. Innumerable people out of work. Whole segments of the market and service industries depressed. Truly, everyone has had a negative impact from the coronavirus. And so today, I want to address this maybe in a little bit different way by talking about our comfort zones. And allow me to start by reading just a little bit from this book. This is the chapter called Beyond the Comfort Zone. She says, a few years ago, I wrote a letter to my students in which I asked them about where they take refuge, where they find comfort. When things are really tough, like you're scared, lonely, angry, unwanted situations, what do you do to take comfort? And she was surprised at how many responses she got to this. They found it to be a helpful question because they had to admit that in hard times, they were often taking refuge in Netflix and overeating or other types of entertainment and diversion. Now, of course, who are Pema Chodron's students? They're like Buddhists, right? And so here we have a group of what you arguably would say are very spiritual people. And where are they taking refuge or comfort in troubled times? In binge watching television and other types of entertainment distraction. Buddhist practitioners, however, she says, generally would speak of taking refuge in the three jewels. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the three jewels of Buddhism today. But I do want to open it up to your own reflection here for a moment. So during the pandemic, what are some of the ways that you have found comfort? Has it been in TV? Have you found yourself binge watching or reading trashy novels? I have to admit, I'm currently embarked upon reading a lot of the old Agatha Christie murder mysteries, right? It's like binge watching, only it's binge reading. So what have you done to cope? What areas have you found a refuge? Now, I bet you haven't thought of it before, but it's another way of thinking about your comfort zone. You know, oftentimes we think of a comfort zone meaning a place within which we're easily keeping our business to ourselves, right? A comfort zone around our family would be maybe not rocking the boat, knowing each other well enough to avoid some of the pitfalls of loving with people. A comfort zone at work might be knowing exactly what your role is and not overstepping it or going too far. And so there is that idea of the comfort zone as being a zone of risk minimization, of not taking too many chances. And so her looking at the idea of the comfort zone also where we find refuge is an interesting one, isn't it? Because it does imply that we're going to retreat into an area where we feel safe or where we can be distracted from some of the things that are troubling us. But I think where I want to go with this idea of a comfort zone is today's joke. So a farmer is walking through the pasture one day, and he stumbles upon a lamp. He picks it up, and of course, just like other stories, out pops a genie. The genie thanks the farmer for setting him free and grants him 3 wishes, but only 1 wish per year. So the farmer thinks for a while before deciding that it's been so dry in the last few years that he wants plenty of rain and sun to nurture his crops. Well, sure enough, that was his wish, and he had the best year ever. Well, a year later, the genie returns and asks the farmer for his second wish. The farmer remarks that his current corn crop is the largest he's ever had, so he wishes for corn to be selling at $5 a bushel. Sure enough, the market rallies, and after a period of time, corn is going for $5 a bushel. That's almost twice as much as usual. Well, the third year, right on schedule, the genie appears to grant the farmer's final wish. Without hesitation, the farmer asks for $5 a bushel for corn again. Well, the genie's kind of surprised and asks the farmer, why would you want the same thing this year as last year? Well, looking sheepish, the farmer squirms a bit and then admits he hadn't actually sold his corn for $5. I got so uncomfortable, I sold at $3.50. And so the idea here is oftentimes our comfort zone, what we're comfortable with, is also a trap. It may make us feel safe. It may make us feel supported. It may be a distraction from the things that are negatively impacting us, but ultimately, it also reduces our chance at success. If you think about any of the great successes that you have observed either in others or in yourself, they typically came with some level of risk. And so I also want to talk about the idea of a comfort zone as it relates to risk. Now, think, if you will, a large circle encompassing all the activities that you could possibly involved with, right? And that largest circle, of course, is going to have a lot of things you would never think of doing because they're just way too risky, right? You're not going to, well, I hope, you're not going to sell all of your worldly possessions and go to Vegas and put it on one whirl of the roulette wheel, right? I think almost anyone on the planet would say, well, wait a minute, that's way too risky. So that would be on the outer edge of this big circle, the things that we think are just way too risky. But there's also a circle right in the middle, and this is the one that Pema Chodron calls our circle of comfort, our comfort zone. And in that circle, we typically don't take any risks at all. We completely do what is familiar to us and what feels safe to us, what feels repetitive to us. Those kinds of activities that we're used to doing day in and day out without any kind of variance at all. And so notice that the difference between these two circles, there's a big difference, right? There's got to be something in between those giant risks that we would never take, and also the idea of never taking a risk at all. And this is what Pema Chodron calls our growth zone, or our zone of education, how we can learn about ourselves enough to expand that inner circle. Because if we only stay in our comfort zone, we may be comfortable, but we're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. Just like the farmer who was too scared, even though his wish was being granted that the corn would sell at a higher price, it wasn't within his comfort zone to actually sell it that high. So he sold out quicker. That is the kind of effects that we have when we're overly risk adverse, when we're literally afraid to go beyond our comfort zone. Well, I want to suggest that the pandemic has completely got most of us in our comfort zones. Many of us, even though businesses and other ways of being are beginning to open up through the country, many of us are still very risk adverse. Even though the CDC has said that now people who are vaccinated can congregate in small groups and not wear masks, have you noticed or talked to some people about how that fear is still there, how that hesitancy to gather together again is still alive in them? It's that comfort zone that has exerted itself over us. People afraid to go shopping. People afraid to meet up in person with their friends and family, even when they're wearing masks, or even when they are doing social distancing and all of the other things that would make the encounter a safe one. Because we have been primed to seek refuge in our comfort zones, many of us are still finding it difficult then to move beyond that, to ease back or begin to ease back into going out in the world again. And of course, it goes way beyond health, right? A lot of us have gotten used to being at home, not necessarily because of health, but now our offices are in our home. A variety of other things have brought us inwards into really kind of barricading ourselves into a smaller life. And although that is comfortable now for us, although that has created a measure of safety that was good during the pandemic, are we still able to push a little bit on those boundaries of taking a risk? Maybe not a risk around our health. I'm not advocating that we give up on mask wearing or the other things, of course, that we need to do to keep each other safe. But many of us have become risk adverse in a variety of ways. Risk adverse of meeting new people, even when done safely. Risk adverse about trying out for new jobs or asking for a promotion. Asking for anything that maybe is a little out of the ordinary or beyond their personal comfort zone. So how can we begin? how can we begin to move out into that circle where there is a little bit more risk? You know, one of the things I love about this book, as it comes from the Buddhist tradition, is it really portrays some very healthy and spiritual ways that we might begin introducing newness in our lives in a way that isn't so risk adverse. And as she mentioned, it was called the 3 gems in Buddhism. And let me go over the Buddhist terms quickly, but then we'll move forward into what that means in terms of our own spirituality. So the 3 gems are spirit, wisdom, and spiritual community, or the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And I want to talk about these 3 gems and how, by utilizing them as concepts, we can begin introducing ourselves into the idea of taking a little more risk, of moving beyond our comfort zone to open up the world to us in ways that will bring us greater success, greater love, and so on. So the first one, the first of these gems, Buddha or spirit, is really our connection to the divine. And so, although in Buddhist terms it might have to do with Buddhist practices and so on, for us it just means doing whatever we need to do to feel more connected to our higher power. And so for some of that might mean making sure that we're getting enough of our 12-step programs, that we're participating in, for instance, the one that Kathy Batten is offering online coming up, or we're doing our Zoom 12-step meetings. For us, it might mean adding more meditation into our lives, coming to the Wednesday meditation that we offer. It might mean taking our spiritual practice in a new direction, not just being a Sunday-only thing or a Wednesday-only thing. Maybe we want to develop our connection to Spirit on a more ongoing basis and set daily intentions, for instance, or keeping up a gratitude journal. So the idea of Spirit as one of these 3 gems is really, what are we doing to expand our consciousness, to break through that zone of comfort in order to keep walking our spiritual path, in order to evolve into a more spiritual version of ourselves. The second of the 3 gems is called Dharma, or wisdom. And of course, I already tipped you off that I've been doing a lot of reading during the pandemic, but has it been healthy reading? Has it been healthy wisdom? Or have I just been finding out how 100 years ago people could kill each other off more easily in murder mysteries, right? And so there is a technique here. There is a method to the madness that Pema Chodron talks about. And so the idea of Dharma, or spiritual wisdom, is that we're a little more careful. We're paying a little more attention to what we're gaining wisdom in. And it could be taking a class. It could be reading, but reading uplifting material, more spiritual material. The idea that we will use the wisdom really to further our spiritual nature. And so it might be reading books like we're covering this month. It might be taking classes like some of the spring classes we're offering. It could just be reading Oprah's book club and some of the enlightening and positive books that you can find there. But are you on a path of greater wisdom, or has your comfort zone made you stray more into the binge-watching TV? Now, don't get me wrong. I think entertainment is a great thing, but there is a difference between entertainment and escapism and wisdom. And so I would ask you just to take a look at how are you spending some of your free time. Are you gaining comfort, but maybe actually digging in further into entertainment or into diversion, rather than growing a little? You can use the same time. And I would suggest you can even be entertained while you are making progress on your spiritual path. So the third of the 3 gems is Sangha, or spiritual community. And this one has been a tough one. It's been a tough one for me as well. For years and years, Sunday church and other in-person gatherings has been my way of that sense of spiritual community. And as much as I truly appreciate the ability to use Facebook Live and Zoom and other techniques, I have to say it has felt a bit like a bit like a lesser reflection of how I would like to be in spiritual community. And so perhaps I've even retreated a little bit from that idea. Well, I'm here to suggest to you that needn't be the case. Although some of these techniques for being out in the world and being spiritual community may not seem at first blush like they're providing the connection, the people connection that you would like, I would like to suggest that the more familiar you get with it, the more that it will begin to serve your needs. So please do. We offer such a variety of ways of connecting on Zoom, on Facebook Live, and other means here, in classes, in meditation, and so on. Please do yourself a favor. If you need some help with technology, get it. If you need some help with how to log on Zoom and things like that, I know our facilitators will help you with that. Do not think that you have to isolate yourself from your spiritual community. We recently attended, in fact, just this weekend, prior, we attended, some of us at church, a Welcome Home workshop that the home office at Centers for Spiritual Living is presenting on how we can begin introducing people physically back into our areas. But of course, here in Oregon, we still have to follow the Oregon Health Authority's rules on social distancing and so far. But it is nice to see, right? There's that glimmer, there's that idea that soon we will be through this well enough that we can begin opening our doors in person again. But in the meantime, we do not have to think that isolation from our community is what we have to put up with. Truly, we are here to serve you. You can pick up the phone. You can join us on Zoom. Many of you, of course, are right now listening to my voice on a podcast or participating on Facebook Live. Be more interactive if you like. Post comments. We will reply to them. We are here to serve you as best we can during these odd times. So just to recap, the 3 areas for making progress, positive progress, and stepping beyond your comfort zone are Buddha or spirit. How are you integrating yourself? How are you connecting to your higher power? Dharma or wisdom, what are you doing to really embolden your intelligence to move forward with new studies, new thoughts, bringing newness to yourself through classes, through reading, and so on? Or Sangha, spiritual community. And I talk about spiritual community as though your only option here is the Center for Spiritual Living in Portland, Oregon. And I would love if that were the case. But of course, you have many options for being in spiritual community. And when I say spiritual community too, I don't mean just a center or a church or a synagogue. You have ways of doing a book club with other people, or ways of showing up in other means to be in spiritual contact with other people. So feel free to feel some newness around these topics. Feel that ability to take a little bit of risk and maybe form your own book club. Maybe form a circle of your friends on FaceTime or Zoom and discuss some of the issues of the day. One of the things that we do that I consider being in spiritual community is even my lunch with Reverend Larry on Fridays at 11:30. We really don't do a whole lot of what you would say spiritual education. It's really more of a chance to check in, to hear the ideas of what's up for people, to listen and to speak our truths. It's a way of being in spiritual community with one another in just a very social and natural way. You could actually form something like that for your own friends and your own family. It's not really taking much of a risk, and it is enhancing this one of these 3 gems, one of these 3 ways of breaking through some of the stuckedness that we feel as part of our current comfort zones. So today we've talked about 2 aspects of our comfort zone. Well, it is where we find comfort, right? But that can be positive and negative. It feels good to be comfortable, and I don't wish anyone to feel uncomfortable. But as we've discussed, sometimes being comfortable isn't always what's good for us. Sometimes it's entrenching ourselves into bad habits or using our time unwisely. So our comfort zone is a place of refuge, but it can also be a place of stagnation. So we talked about it too in terms of familiar territory, that if we do want to make progress in the world, if we want to find success, the only time that we do progress or success is a willingness to take at least a little bit of risk, a little bit of an ability to step beyond what we know today, what we feel today, what we feel safe today. Now, we're not going way on the edge of that circle. Remember, I talked about it in the terms of circles, that the innermost circle is our comfort zone, the zone where nothing changes. And of course, the outer circle are crazy risks that I would not suggest anyone ever take. And in fact, I would never suggest we need to risk anything that would cause health problems or disease or some kind of physical tragedy. But there's a big band in between called that growth zone. We can take small social risks. We can take the kinds of risks that could really open up our vision to a greater world for us, greater opportunities, greater love, and greater life. Those are the kinds of things worth coming out of our comfort zone for. Well, I do have a bit of homework for you this week. I'd like you to do that evaluation that I have done recently out of this year of feeling a little bit like I've been sequestered. You know, we're a year into the COVID-19 pandemic. It's been a year where I felt like my world has gotten a little smaller, and I have to admit, I have retreated into my comfort zone. I have been overeating, and I have been frittering away some of my time. So I would like you to go through that exercise yourself. Has the comfort zone been a positive experience for it? Or have you found yourself perhaps retreating from the world in a way that, although it's been comfortable, perhaps you're beginning to miss out on the bigger picture of life itself? So that's your homework, just to examine your own comfort zone. Has it been useful? Are there aspects of it that have been less than useful? Okay. Well, I want to close today with another quote from the book and, of course, a prayer. She says, in this very brief time that we have on planet Earth, we have to ask ourselves how we're going to spend that time. Will we keep increasing and strengthening some of our neurotic habits in a quest for safety and comfort? Or will we make it a practice to step into the learning zone, a zone of newness and activity? Let us pray. There is one power, there is one presence, there is one God. And what I know about this thing is that it is everything. Every person, every place, every situation, all that is, all that can be, all that ever has been is God. And God created the heavens and earth out of itself. God keeps on creating through the activities of us humans and the planet. And I affirm and know that I am a big part of this, that I am a creator of my own life moving forward. I also know that I'm brave enough to take those small risks, to step out of my comfort zone and seek out the broader life, the more spiritual life, the good life that's filled with love and sweetness, of abundance and success. This is who I am. And as it is true for me, I claim and know and believe that it can be true for everyone. Each person can have a willingness to step outside of their zone of pure comfort and into the zone of those small social risks that we might take to be more spiritual, to be more productive, to be more loving, and so on. And so this week and the week following, I simply know we evaluate where we are and put our intentions on living a little more grand, a little more loving, a little more joyous, a little more spontaneous, willing to take those small risks. And so for this, I give great thanks. For this, I recognize in God that one power that says yes to anything which we hold dear to ourselves. And so I release this prayer into the activity, into the action of the law itself. I let it be, and together we say, and so it is. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Now is our time of conscious giving. If you'd like to take your gifts or maybe log on to your web device and make a donation to us, that would be most appreciated. You can go to cslportland.org/donate, and there are a variety of ways that you can make a donation to us online. And of course, we also support the Tithely app. So if you happen to have a smartphone, you can download Tithely and look for Portland Center for Spiritual Living and make a donation that way as well. It truly is our honor to be here for you every week, and I bless you for your many gifts. Shall we have another song? LaRhonda, would you like to come up?
I'd like to let you all know that both songs today were written by our own licensed practitioner, Miss Marci Beck. And Ken, you had a hand in these lovely songs too, yes? All right. I'll take the next step and keep on walking. I know I'm ready for something new. There are no mountains, there are no valleys. There's just the next step, and I'll see it through. The next step and the next step. There's something better, there's something new. My heart is willing, my heart is open. I'll take the next step and see it through. It doesn't matter the roads I've taken or where I've traveled to get me here. It only matters that in this moment I'll take the next step and I'll see it through. The next step and the next step. There's something better, there's something new. My soul is willing, my heart is open. I'll take the next step and see it through. So take the next step and the next step. There's something better that waits for you. Our souls are willing, our hearts are open. Just take the next step and see it through. I'll take the next step and see it through.
Well, thank you, Marci Beck, and thank you, LaRhonda Steele, and thank you, Friends Band. What a nice treat that was. Before we close today, just a quick reminder that we're here to support you in prayer. If you go to our website, cslportland.org, any of our web pages has a little banner across the bottom, including a place to submit a prayer request. So please take advantage of that. If you fill in the prayer request little form, it automatically gets emailed out to all 10 of our licensed practitioners and ministers, and it's our great honor to pray for you throughout the week. Truly, let us support you in prayer during some of these difficult times. And shall we close in song? Thank you, LaRhonda.
Yes. Thank you, Reverend Larry. Our closing song is The Truth of Who I Am. Ooh. I am love, I am loving, I am love. I am love, I am loving, I am love. It's the truth of who I am. If I forget, Spirit reminds me again that I am love, I am loving, I am love. Think of your neighbor. You are love, you are loving, you are love. Think of somebody else. You are love, you are loving, you are love. Yes. It's the truth of who you are. Shine your light near, yes, near and far. You are love, you are loving, you are love. The whole world. We are love, we are loving, we are love. Yes. We are love, we are loving, we are love. It's the truth of who we are. Shine our lights near, yes, near and far. We are love, we are loving, we are love. You are. You are love, you are loving, you are love. I am love, I am loving, I am love. And that is the truth.
If you happen to be in the Portland, Oregon area, we'd love to have you visit in person. The Portland Center for Spiritual Living is located at 6211 Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. We have inspirational services at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. every Sunday. We also have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. We have a variety of content dedicated specifically for our online listeners. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Our website is also the place to learn more about what's going on at the center or to contact us. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.